Picture this an experiment in a hospital waiting room. Patients are handed a magazine to kill time before their appointment. One magazine subtly highlights words related to kindness and connection. When the nurse returns to request donation for a cancer charity, a surprising jump in yes responses emerges all before a single word about the cause is even said. What invisible force just took hold here? Welcome to the realm of persuasion, where the magic starts before you speak. What if your first words have less impact than the moment before? Pre-Suasion flips persuasion on its head by showing how your setup primes minds to say yes before you ask anything. In Phoenix, patients in a hospital waiting room were subtly exposed to magazines featuring words related to kindness, words like help, support, and give. Later, when asked to donate to a cancer charity, donation rates spiked dramatically. The catch? Researchers never mentioned the charity beforehand. Just the earlier word exposure set the emotional stage for generosity. Think of the mind as a DJ mixing tracks, blending moods and expectations. Pre-Suasion carefully cues the mental playlist, switching the tune to generosity or openness before your influence drops its beats. This invisible priming reshapes perception without anyone noticing the change happening. The payoff is clear. Influence isn't just about what you say, but what you do before saying it. Preparing your audience's mental stage, the lighting, the soundtrack, the set design, turns a simple pitch into a performance they're already primed to applaud. Attention isn't just where eyes go, but what shapes choices. Focus becomes a fertile ground for planting ideas, steering decisions without overt pressure. In a clever study, researchers asked participants to highlight words in a text. Unbeknownst to them, some words related secretly to later tasks, like honesty or generosity. Those who highlighted words linked to these virtues later behaved more ethically or generously, simply because attention was drawn to these concepts beforehand. Imagine your attention as a spotlight in a dark theater. Wherever this beam shines becomes vivid, important, and influential. By guiding focus subtly, highlighting one idea over another, you control which parts of reality feel most pressing, tipping decisions accordingly. When you shape attention first, people aren't just passive recipients. They become active participants in a mental game primed toward your goal. This shift lets them feel their choices come from internal agreement rather than external pressure, a persuasion jackpot. The environment whispers to your brain long before words arrive. Contextual signals prime your mindset, silently boosting or blocking your persuasive power. Alcoa, a giant aluminum company, famously transformed its safety culture by focusing everyday attention on the importance of worker safety. Not by slogans or speech, but by consistently highlighting safety first, through signage, reports, and recognition. This contextual focus increased safety awareness so deeply, it changed the company's entire bottom line and culture. Think of context cues like a changeable thermostat in a room. When set right, they warm your mindset to openness and cooperation. When off, they cool it to skepticism or resistance. These invisible adjustments happen continuously around us, and knowing how to engineer the right room temperature is a secret weapon in persuasion. By intentionally crafting environment and context, you don't just make it easier to say yes, you make refusing harder. The context primes the brain, lowering resistance and setting up a mental pathway straight to agreement, often unnoticed and effortless. Remember that waiting room where kindness words lit the way to generosity? That's persuasion in action, silent, subtle, and shockingly powerful. Next time you want to persuade, don't rush your ask. Instead, set the stage, direct attention, and craft the context. Try this before your next big conversation. Drop tiny related cues, words, images, or environment tweaks to prep your listener's mindset. Watch how your influence transforms because you've done the hardest work before you even speak. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.